Applied Precision, a recognized leader in wafer probe card test and analysis, first introduced the waferWorx wafer probing process analysis system in 2000. The first of its kind, the waferWorx was met with critical acclaim, being voted best product by a leading industry publication. Since then, the wafer probing process has continued to increase in its complexity. Dramatic increases in probe array size and concentration of probes, pad and probe pitch decreases, sort floor correlation, and the need to decrease pad sizes all underscore the fact that a tool to control, maintain, and improve this process is paramount.
There was no tool that was available to analyze the probing process. Essentially, you have a probe card, a prober, a tester, and an operator that are trying to optimize yields, but when you have an issue, there was no tool that could analyze that and identify the issues.
Applied Precision again defines its leadership position with the waferWorx 300 with 3D probe tip analysis. Unlike inspection systems, the waferWorx 300 enables the process engineer to view the true performance under actual test conditions of the prober, probe card, and operator. The waferWorx 300 replaces time-consuming manual analysis with automated probe mark and probe tip data collection and analysis, delivering quantifiable data and easy-to-interpret results, enabling automated root cause analysis for rapid corrective action, yield optimization, and new technology validation.
waferWorx 300 can basically monitor your probing process and make a Pareto chart of all the performance properties of that probing process, just like the front end. And it's basically taking a lot of the techniques, proven techniques of what they're doing in the front end, of how they're controlling the process in the front end, and applying them to the back end probing process.
This methodology enables the waferWorx 300 to assist in the control and improvement of test cell and prober-specific setup and performance, assessment, validation, and implementation of new probers and probe card technologies to determine the process capabilities for pad shrink.
A lot of times it's extremely difficult to identify why you're having the problem. Did the operator set up the card incorrectly? Was the probe to pad not performing properly? Was it a temperature problem? Was the wafer aligned properly? Is the stage not performing properly? Is it problems under deflection? And so identifying why you're having a problem is extremely difficult. It's a very complex problem.
Thorough analysis of the probe mark reveals the true performance of the wafer test cell. The waferWorx 300 frees up your time with automated probe mark data collection and analysis of 23 probing parameters, delivering real answers to your probing process questions.
We can identify such things as orthogonality problems in your stage, wafer alignment, we can identify deflection issues, we can, under load, we can identify probe to pad alignment, how your prober is doing. And we can also even see how your probe card is performing in real environment, including at temperature. One of the biggest problems in the industry is probing at temperature. The probe card analyzer typically will measure the card at ambient temperature, and it's not telling you how the card behaves at a higher temperature or a colder temperature. waferWorx can actually see the card being expanded relative to the wafer. We can actually pull out the scaling differentials in the card versus the wafer, so we can actually get temperature data.
Initial scanning delivers probe mark data, enabling the operator to look at the performance of the test cell as a whole and to drive down the individual pad data for further analysis.
What's new in waferWorx 300 also is we went to a color camera, and what a color camera gives us is that we can do spectral analysis, essentially look for different colors and features on wafers and probe tips. And with that, we can actually do punch-through screening.
The waferWorx 300 delivers reports on the performance of the test cell in a descriptive format that enables the operator to quickly determine those parameters with the most adverse effect on the process and take associated corrective actions. In minutes, the waferWorx 300 will analyze your stage, probe card, and prober performance, delivering critical data on the status of your process.
And so that methodology of modeling that and isolating how your probe card is performing, how your probe stage is performing, how your setup's performing, and closing that loop back is a very critical component of understanding your probing process.
Rapid scanning in a tips-up configuration enables the quick delivery of data on the probe card as a whole and on individual probes. Operators will benefit from this data, from probe tip wear studies to individual probe tip analysis, maintenance, and rework. In addition, the waferWorx 300 utilizes 3D confocal imaging, producing highly detailed information on probes in question.
The shape of the probe is very tightly correlated to the size and depth of the scrub is making, so people need to understand that shape now. And that is a new tool that is available only on waferWorx 300, is 3D tip profiling capability.
This 3D capability allows operators to rapidly analyze probe tip characteristics that are affecting the yield of the test cell.
For example, one of our customers found through 3D tip analysis that he was picking up debris on his probe tip, and it was actually sticking to his probe tip, and he was getting this buildup on that probe tip. And he, from a 2D analysis, it would say, oh, the probe is in the right position, it's in the right polarity position, everything passed, put it back on the test floor, and it still had problems. But looking at it in 3D, you could actually see this buildup, and he was able to identify it and fix the problem.
The waferWorx 300 also produces the same descriptive reports for probe tip analysis. The reports, in conjunction with ProbeWorx or PRVX3 data, help to identify those probes that can be reworked on the spot.
One other feature waferWorx 300 has is you can actually take probe card results off a ProbeWorx machine or a PRVX machine and load them into the waferWorx machine and go into rework or review and repair that probe card. waferWorx 300 will move the probe card under view for repair, giving you a very ergo and a very nice way of repairing a card. You have this semi-automated engineering microscope that's very powerful to do very quick reviews of your probe card without having to do a full automated test.
waferWorx 300 owners can benefit from performing optical planarity and alignment analysis, the ability to monitor tip wear over time and over cards, 3D maintenance of individual probe tips, rapid scan times for determination of probe tip quality, the ability to monitor the cleaning process effectively and its effects on wafer tests, and test at temperature analysis, all resulting in longer probe card life, lower overall probe card costs, and increased process efficiency and yield. The waferWorx 300 is the only tool that enables you to assess the probing process, identify and analyze issues within the process, and define solution options quickly and easily. To make analysis effective on the sort floor, speed is an important qualification.
You can do up to about 10,000 paths per minute depending on the type of wafer you have, which will typically do a 300 millimeter wafer in the 5 to 10 minute range depending on your number of pads you have. This gives you extremely fast turnaround where you can have a problem, throw that wafer quickly on a waferWorx machine, identify the problem, and get your process back up and running.
In addition to lightning-fast speeds, the waferWorx 300 can accept all major wafer technologies and sizes up to 300 millimeters. And because of its tips-up configuration, it also accepts all major probe card technologies. Once the wafer probing process is performing correctly, optimizing for yield and controlling the probing variables is essential. With the waferWorx 300, system CPK and SPC analysis can be used to monitor the process, provide correlation between the test floor and the probe card analyzers, and proactively manage production quality.
What waferWorx 300 does is it mathematically models those scrub marks and pulls out those errors, pulls out the X, Y, yaw, pitch roll, and Z error on that for every single touchdown across the wafer. And that data should actually correlate back to the analyzer, so we can close the loop back to the predictions that your probe card analyzer is making. Yield management is one of the main focuses for a probing process engineer. And understanding the performance of your probe card, your prober, and your probe card setup is critical for yield. And waferWorx 300 is the only tool on the market today that gives you that information.
Applied precision, meeting today's needs for tomorrow's technologies.